What's up, everybody? Matt Nuzzo from Reel. Stoking. Rigging up. Gonna shoot the new Armstrong A Wing XPS. This bad boy right here. Incredible new wing from Armstrong. They spent 2 years designing this thing, had 100 different design samples, like 60 design and 40 for material, and then different size runs in those things. Like an absolute ton went into this. We're gonna do 3 videos on this one because it's got a ton of tech, ton of different stuff going on. Today's gonna be the on-water review. So I'm gonna rig up, taking 1225. Got a nice little day of wing hole here. Gonna get out for a sesh. Gonna talk about this new wing from Armstrong. Session time. Oh yeah, A Wing XPS. XPS stands for Cross Panel Sail Design. So this is something they took from the sailing world. You can see all the paneling and stitching. Basically, those are the load points there, and it just looks just like the clew of a sailboat, where they basically have all these additional panels coming out to distribute the load. And what it does is it locks in the draft through the center part of this wing here. So this whole area here gets a locked in draft, and then it keeps the trailing edge from bagging out, right? So this panel design, you're gonna see a lot more of this. The reason people aren't doing it is they haven't figured it out, and also it's really a lot more expensive to make the panel design like that. So XPS, cross panel design. A couple of little features they did on this wing is they have the preloaded wingtips, right? So Army's out with Peter Burling one day, the America's Cup sailor, and he's like, mate, he's like, we preload the sails. He's like, why don't you preload the wingtips? He's like, the wingtips are just on all the wings are just out there flapping like dead air. So they preload that wingtip, so they curve that wingtip in so that when it's under tension, it flattens out, and you have this, like, you're using the entire canopy as opposed to have this wingtip flying out there. It also makes it just stay in the handles like that. It also makes it luff out really, really well when you're on a wave. So this wing was designed with average conditions, any rider ability. All right, so that's a pretty big ask. And what we've been finding from testing is these wings are absolutely incredible. They are different than the V1 and V2 A-Wing, as they don't have as much low-end power and grunt, but they do have way more top end. So this 5.3 would sit kind of between the 4.5 and the 5.5 A-Wing. A more kind of true to size would be like the 3.5 A-Wing, would be like the 4.0. And that 4.0 I've ridden in literally 15 miles an hour to 45. It wasn't comfortable at either end, but it was able to handle both ends of that wind range. So there's a bunch of other features we're gonna go over on this wing. So let's get on the water and take a sesh. Right now we got about, I don't know, 12 to 18, and should be good on that 5.3. Today I'm riding the stock setup Armstrong MA 1225. This is kind of my lighter air, kind of a lot of different conditions foil. Like, it's really great for riding waves. It's really good. You know, I could ride it in high wind or low wind, but it's like a little lighter today, so I want that little extra boost. A lot of times I'm riding the 1475 for real light conditions, and then the 1000 for cranking conditions. I use a stock flow 235 tail 70 fuse. I really like the performance mast, that 795 that comes in the kit. It just works, like, you know, has a really positive feel to it. And when you get to those wider spans like the 1475 and 1750 or the bigger 8Ks, I think that performance mast is almost a must, just because, you know, you're really torquing with those real wide wingspans. I am riding the blue shim on this. Gives you a little bit better speed, not quite as much lift, but a little more speed, a little less drag. All right, almost to deep water. Let's hit it. Everyone's first question on any wing: what's up with the handles? What did the Army do with the handles? So Army did a little bit different setup here. Hybrid carbon handle system, okay? This is a fully rigid handle, but it doesn't have those big honking like bar end things. Like, so this is a, you know, has some softer neoprene EVA stuff here, and that thing is like fully solid, but it's soft to grip, so it's comfortable on your hand, but it doesn't have, and it has all the positive feedback of a hard handle, but it's not like heavy and clunky. So like, you hit yourself in the head or hit your board, you're not gonna break your board like you are with a lot of the hard handles. So he did a really good job testing the crap out of these things. Got your little harness line hookups here. The front handle is softer, so again, you're gonna hit yourself with that handle, so it's a little softer, but it's still really rigid up and down, so it gives you a lot of control when you're flying. Oh, there we go. Woo! Look at those windows. You can see everything. Upwind, downwind. Nice. of the most important things about a wing is its balance, right? So your balance over your head, balance, oh look, I'm standing on the bottom. You could do that with an Armstrong foil. So it's your balance of like how the wing feels front and back hand. And this thing, like it's perfectly balanced front and back hand, even when you get overpowered. A lot of wings, your backhand just gasses out when you get overpowered. The next is how does it rotate side to side? You can see on that little clip there, it's like, it just rolls perfectly one side to the other, and it feels really balanced without any like downforce. And because you got a really taut canopy here, you don't have a lot of drag and like flutter that's slowing you down. So I mean, the balance and the roll makes it super easy to ride and just very, very controlled. Love this. Oh, easy. All right, handle test is something I'm always talking about. How well does the wing sit on its handles, right? Wings with a lot of dihedral, that curve that goes up like that, a lot of times they just immediately flip over. This one, you know, does have enough dihedral so it luffs well, but it still kind of stays put. Like I'm at the end of my leash here, and it will kind of stay put. It will flip over sometimes, but it's really pretty well behaved. It's not the best, you know, on the handle test, but way better than any other wing in this category. So definitely stoked on it. Okay, how's this thing luff out? Obviously just done flat water pumping here, but on the wave, I mean, look at this thing. It's just rock solid stable. And this is a 5.3. It feels so much smaller and more nimble than most wings I've used of this size. Just totally controlled. The smaller size and the waves is just incredible. I'm out of shape. So stable. All right, you can see that the XPS is a fast wing. When this thing's fully loaded up, you're using all, like when it flexes out right, you're using the entire canopy. And it doesn't have too deep of a draft or any luff or anything, so like any like flapping in the back or anything, so it's just straight line speed. And it hammers upwind, like fully rigid frame, fully rigid canopy, and it's just flying upwind. And the great news is this is a fairly new one, but I have one that's like a prototype that's like 8 months old, and I used it a ton. It's got like 100 sessions on it, and it still feels really good. It's softer, the material's a little softer because I use it so much. The biggest problem with wings is they're just bagging out. After 10 sessions, they just feel terrible. Whereas this wing is gonna last and feel great for a long time. Got pretty light out here, but still going on the 5.3 and a 50-liter board, so let's see. Woo. cool thing, you can grab that handle of the luff or that handle of the luff. Kind of fun. Totally just dry docked myself. Check that out. Well, that's Armstrong gear for you. You can dry dock it and it still rides. You don't break the boxes out. We're coming to this A Wing XPS. I mean, this wing is incredible. I mean, just look at the shape of this. It's just such a beautiful shape. How there's so much tech in this, and that's why we're gonna do a review on just how the materials they've used, and then also how they did all the design plan and all the different tech features on this wing. When you look at this wing, it's really unique, it rides unique, and I've had hundreds of sessions on these wings, and kind of everything else is like, it's the benchmark of what we're riding against. So we ride other wings, and we're like, it's good, but it's not like the XPS. And so average conditions, I've ridden them in really average conditions, I've ridden them in A+ epic conditions, and they just work across the board, and that's really what Armstrong's about, making a high quality, durable product that's going to work for your average user in average conditions, and that's it. These things are amazing. You want more reviews? Reach out, realwatersports.com. Give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000. See you in the water for the next session. You.